Hello. Hello, hello. Hello there. Hello, darkness, my old friend. We are getting a few more things set up because your boy's running we're running a couple minutes late, but hello, Zelt Parker. What's going on? Minnie? Whoop whoop indeed. Don't mind me, gang. I'm just getting an Excel spreadsheet set up and framed so that you should be able to see all of the important bits that we're going to work on today. We got a lot of work to do on the Pantheon, so I figured why not just get at it. But I think it should be fine. It should be fine. Honestly, like let's just hello. There it is. This is what we're doing today. We're gonna shrinky dink this to like here. Okay. So this is what we're working on today. We need a little more space because a lot of these are gonna get larger. They're hopefully by the end of this they're all gonna be looking like this. Like these two are pretty well close to done. And also I have changed my mind overnight. That's gonna be this. And I'm gonna have to double check my names on some of these, but it's gonna be fine. And then we should be able to click over here, and yeah, it's still there. Okay, awesome. So we're good. We're good. So we can click between the pantheons and the domains and stuff that we're gonna work on for probably a couple hours today. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So we're gonna be clicking between this and this. This is everything we had yesterday. I have added to this, by the way, because again, I never sleep. It just doesn't happen. So I did a bunch of stuff, and I wrote down some more things I want to work on for future streams. I'm gonna grab the handbook because I need it to do this. And also, what I need is this bad boy. Boop. Strongholds and followers, baby. You gotta have as many books ready as you can. And the downside is I only have two. So all the other ones are still at the studio because we're filming tonight. So this one's gonna be a little bit noodly. We're gonna do a bit of a drill down. I have set some missions for myself, and if we can stay on task and stay on target, we should hopefully make at least a little bit of progress today. There we go. Okay. We've got everything pulled up. Minnie, you're at work still, but you'll be around. Hey, man, hopefully this will entertain you through your workday. Fingers is crossed, eh? All right. So, we're going to start with very boring. So this will be a good time to just kind of chat and see how everybody's doing. Love that book. You and a friend built a tavern in your campaign? Dude, heck yeah, man. That's freaking awesome. And I've realized I've changed my mind on how I want to put these out. We're gonna do love, beauty, and we'll come back to that. My goal for the immediate moment is to do this. Make this just be major gods. Things that if they have like 3 or more very prominent aspects of society, they get to be a major god. If you have 1 or 2 or you overlap pretty heavily with the major gods, you're going to be a minor god. Which is not to say that someone couldn't worship you as like a cleric and still be super powerful. But you're just not going to be as prominent in the world. And I need to break it down to major gods. And then we're going to have to drop down here probably. And we're going to go to ancient gods, elder gods, and titans. Okay, so this is my goal for today. My goal for today is to get at least most of these to look about as fleshed out as this one, and then also finish these two. And this, I might have this guy's name wrong. We're going to figure that out later. It's going to be okay. I promise you, it's going to be fine. And I'm also going to move that to somewhere else. Maybe what we'll do is like... I'm gonna list them out in this direction and we'll figure it out. What up, DB? Hello, hello. We are... And maybe what I would like to do... But I'm gonna do that. That'll be a later thing. I'm gonna say like victory, conquest. Maybe domination is a good one. What we're gonna be doing, this is gonna be a little bit awkward because it's gonna just be. I want to slide all of these down basically. What I want to do is I want to drag these down, and then as I fill them in, delete them. And then what I'll probably end up doing is sort these by alphabetical, which would probably be the easiest to do right now. But there's what we have: Apollo, Aphrodite, Ares, Athena, Apollo. Any other A's in there? Any other A's hiding out? I don't think so. I think it's everyone. If you need more random information about Greek gods, I got you. Thank goodness you're here. Thank Nike, because we're about to just do it. But yeah, similar to yesterday, I encourage you guys to throw out fun facts, things that you think would fit in any of these three categories. I am looking to fill in major gods and what they would overfill. These are going to be your Olympian and chthonic gods. They're going to fall into the major. The elder gods are going to be titans. These are gods before gods. These are Kronos, Gaia. These are primal forces. These are not things you would inherently worship because they are like a deity being that's living on high. These are beings you could go interact with. These are things that would give you warlock powers. And then minor gods are going to be a little bit of everything. They might be bards that wander the Deadlands or the smaller cities on the fringe and keep people informed and also, you know, do what the gods be doing. And they might also be like warlock patrons that you might just find out in the Deadlands, kind of just doing their own thing. So we need to put Apollo down here. Okay. Small curiosity, where's Eros in your pantheon? Since case by case he is a being even the gods fear. Yes, so things like that are going to be in the minor gods. And I don't mean minor in the sense of like their powers are limited or anything. I mean minor in the sense that you're not going to find a temple to Eros in like a big prominent city. You might find a shrine in somebody's house. But these guys, the reason I had this over here, and I'm going to put it back now to keep it less confusing, is I'm going to do something like this. So where Aphrodite would overall cover like these 4 to however many things we come up with, I'm not going to limit myself to like you have to have 3 for everything or you have to have 10 for something or whatever. However many they end up having, if these guys have a minor god that would overlap with them, we're going to do something like this. Where like Eros would specifically be the god of love, but Aphrodite is just the overflow. She's the overarching goddess if you needed something from any of these. The idea is so that if you're a cleric or a paladin and you're going through the list of gods you can choose, and you know what domain you want for your like casting powers in your subclass, that it's super easy for you to go through this list, find the thing that you're looking for, and pick it. That's what we're hoping for today. And I've decided not to do that because we're not going to have like a full-on god of dreams. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I have to... This guy is like knowledge, medicine, the sun. Very minor overlap with archery. And he is going to overlap very heavily with most of the gods. Because Apollo's involved, as we learned yesterday, in pretty much everything. This guy does like medicine, science. I'm gonna cut archery from there because that's just That's too broad of an idea. Can for sure just start throwing out Titans for you, because a lot of people do not know much about the Titans compared to the gods. Absolutely, man. Throw them in there. And we are taking some heavy liberties here today. We're gonna be twisting and kind of breaking this pantheon to fit what we're looking for. I gotta put Artemis in here. Artie. And there's a specific and more after all that. Oh yeah. Archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, sun and light, poetry and more. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, this is where it's gonna get nasty, and we might not do this today, is we're gonna break the gods up into who's acceptable in the north and the south, and if there's an overlap between the north and the south, like Apollo is gonna be worshipped everywhere, what is he worshipped for based on where you're seeing his shrines? Because you might have 4 or 5 churches to Apollo that don't like each other, because one might say, yeah, he's the god of, you know, music and dance, and another one that prays to him for prophecies, and another one that's like a big healing church, with like a life domain church might be dedicated to Apollo as the god of healing, and these guys might hate each other. They might not have fun, and that's gonna be in. Organizations and factions. We're gonna fit churches, because it might be the case for exactly that, but that might be something for literally every one of these gods. You might have, you know, an Aphrodite school of enchantment for items, and artificers might be like super into that, not for the love aspect, but for literally like enchanting something. That's the kind of liberties that we're gonna take. We're gonna be making some logic leaps, because that's what people would do. Athena is also gonna have knowledge, war, strategy. I'm gonna throw stuff in here like cunning. Like, she's strategically very wise, literally wisdom. Somebody that follows Athena might have a static guidance on them for wisdom checks. Artemis is hunting. The very broadly nature. I'm gonna give Artemis sway with animals. Again, we're taking some liberties here. These are gonna be wilds. Let's say wilderness. Let's not be so vague that it hurts. So we've got Apollo for medicine and science. We're gonna do something like this, and I'm gonna change this. Because this is going to be a lot of extra legwork, but if we do this now, I don't have to do it later. So your domains over here would be trickery. I'm going to have to pull up all the cleric domains. Well, darn. So let's do just that. 5e D&D cleric domains. I just need a list of them, because there's so many new ones now. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. So over in this column that you guys aren't going to be able to see, which is okay. You just have a little faith for a second. Your boy's gonna type out all of the cleric things that we need to fit in. Type knowledge twice. We're off to a good start. Life, light, nature, order, peace, tempest, trickery, twilight, war. The following are designed for the Amonkhet setting. I'm not going to worry about that. Unofficial content from Twitter. No, we're not going to be using that. I will put the blood cleric in here. I'm not going to worry too much about that, but I will try to fit these in wherever I can. City, protection, twilight, and unity. Okay, you know what? I'm going to focus on the most of the base ones, anything that's been actually released, and then I'll throw Tal'Dorei on there. And just because I don't know about it doesn't mean somebody's not going to ask about it. We're going to throw Mind in there because that's in Eberron. And then we are going to look up Paladin Oaths. So these are our clerics. And this is going to be in the dark side of the screen for you guys, so I do apologize, but got to fit it in somewhere. Okay. So these are our... I cannot spell Paladin Oaths today. I keep saying oats. Yes, my Paladin Oats. I worship Poseidon because he gives us the good oats. Oh, jeez. Okay. Holy cow, there's so many. Actually, there's not that many. Oath of the Ancients, Conquest, the Crown, Devotion, Glory, Redemption, my favorite, Vengeance, Watchers sounds cool, but I've never heard of that. Oath Breakers. Oh, hello. Paladin O's. Dude, you would think from how often I've been typing in oats. So the Watchers is Cauldron of Everything. D&D Beyond has Oath of the Open Sea. Which, honestly, I will put in here, but we're not going to give too much thought to because this is a landlocked setting. So I'm not going to worry too much about stuff like that. Okay, there we go. Cool. So that's that. So we don't need that anymore. Okay, so these are the things, the stuff that only I can see down here, because it's underneath chat, which is fine. Is stuff you guys probably already know way better than I do, because I haven't really interfaced with most of this stuff. But we have our cleric domains and our paladin oaths that I need to be able to fit in under here. So we're going to cut trickery. We're going to put mind. Twilight. Very loosely, I'm going to give war. And peace. And I think the only paladin one I'm okay with being over here is going to be devotion. And we are going to wrap the text. Oh, baby. Do Oathbreakers count? Yes. Yes, they do. I'm going to count Oathbreaker and Redemption in a very similar order. Because an Oathbreaker paladin might turn away from one god and join another and be working towards their pantheon in a different way, but still have those Oathbreaker tenets. You might also start as an Oathbreaker and follow Prometheus. Okay, so Apollo is going to have Arcana, Light, Life. This dude's going to have most of these. So I'm going to have to limit it a little bit for no real reason other than I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, he can literally do anything. We are going to be bending this to what we need. I will give Apollo the crown. And glory. And let's do, we're going to throw redemption in there as well. I'm going to count knowledge and medicine and science as being, you know, worthwhile qualities to look for. So if you're looking for redemption, you might go to a Temple of Apollo and seek out like an oracle or something and see what they can give you. Ares is super, super easy. You are war, death, conquest, vengeance. And that's it, I think. At least for now. Artemis, also pretty easy. We're going to give you Tempest Clerics. Probably not War, or Death, or the Forge, or Blood. I'll give you Life. And Ancients for sure. Because I need to think of... Artemis is not a really widely supported deity in the north. They probably don't like her. If you don't want redemption or life to be for Apollo, because he already has a lot. That is true. That is true. I am trying... My goal with the Pantheon is to put enough work into it that a player who doesn't know or care about Greek mythology can look at this, find their subclass on there, and move on. I'm going to put extra work into it for myself, but I'm not going to stress too much about making it perfect. The major gods are going to be what a cleric or a paladin would follow. The minor gods are what a non-divine casting class would probably pick up. Something that's specific to them. Because we have a lot of dudes. We have a lot of things to fit everywhere. So Athena is going to be knowledge. Athena is going to be light. Sort of illuminating something. Again, we're taking some liberties because I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, you're a light cleric. You have one choice. This would be mind, order, peace and war, conquest, crown, glory, redemption. There's going to be a lot of these that are very, very widely followed. A warlock following Hypnos or Phobos would be really cool. It would be very, very cool, and we will probably do that. You know what? That's a fair point. Let me grab 5e warlock subclasses. Holy cow. Okay, we are not going to use these ridiculous things down here. Warlocks. Warlocks have the Archfey, the Celestial, the Fathomless, Fiend, the Genie. I'm going to... Genia. Did it again. Great Greta the old one. Greta oldie. I'm not a professional typer by any means. This is a foolish endeavor. Undead. I'm gonna... I know this is cheating. I don't distinguish between undead and undying. I'm not gonna worry about that. Those are gonna fall into the same thing. Okay, so there's our warlocks that we should worry about as well, because even warlocks need a home. People who didn't enjoy Greek mythology, aka people I don't trust. Yeah, exactly. And that would be something I would work out on a player-to-player basis. If somebody said I want to play like a fear-based character, I want to play like a warlock with a pact with Phobos, you could do a lot of cool stuff with that. That would be very, very fun, and I would be super excited to do it. I might also allow. I guess there's druids, aren't there? Yeah, druids are a thing. This is getting complicated very quickly. Oh boy. Okay. Let's resize all of this. Because there's druid circles and bard colleges. But you know what? Before I do all of that, let's finish up the thing we started before I just get completely distracted. Dolos, I'm going to stick in a minor god space. Same with Soteria. I'm going to focus on things that people will have a shorthand for. Or Warlock that follows Hecate and their entire pact and purpose is to corrupt the enemies they fight. Heck yeah, dude. Demeter, we have Hecate, Hera, and Hestia. And Hades, can't forget these things. Oh my gosh, they're so clumped together. Dionysus. Good golly, this is gonna take a while. That's okay though. That's why we're streaming it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. Hades. Yo, hello, D-Swag. Welcome to the Pantheon stream, where things are gonna get weird real fast. And we're also just gonna do this. I want to future-proof this for myself and have text wrapping. Hermes. Why are they all so clustered in names? Hermes. Nyx. Persephone. Poseidon. I will have... There will be shrines to Poseidon, but no, like, large standing temples. I'm going to leave that open to the players to deal with. I will stick... No, just because Nyx is chthonic doesn't mean she gets bumped into the Elder Gods. You know there's an option to order alphabetically? I do, but I am nothing if not stubborn. And therefore... Here we go. Because I'm also all over the place. I keep popping up here to literally just do like a whole section, and then I come over here and I do this, and then I come back. Forgot about Nike. Just do it. Thanatoire. Thanatos Taiki. Okay, I think we've got all the majors. I think we have all of the majors. Elder Gods and Titans will come later. For now, we're going to get everybody looking like this. And then we're going to come up with churches, orders, and circles. And bundled in there somewhere is going to be bard colleges. You have your first purple Pikmin! Nice. Congratulations. That's very exciting. You are and have always been a magician. And we're very proud of you. You still rock the yellow? Heck yeah, dude. Okay, Demeter is going to be specifically like winter, nature, harvests loosely alongside Persephone, because we're going to pop down here real quick. Nature, harvest, fertility. Pop down there, because those two go hand in hand. Because of your electric personality. Zing! Yeah, dude. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alright. So, domains for Demeter. I'm going to say... death, life, nature, tempest, twilight in a very, very broad sense, ancients. And honestly, I'm not going to worry too much about warlocks and druids, because that's going to be on a very personal basis. But it is good to be aware of them. Same with the bard colleges. I'm gonna leave that up to the players if they want to do that. I have an idea of how bards would work, and I'm only gonna really deal with that on a player basis if somebody wants to play a bard. But the bards are like neutral entities. They don't take a side. They're welcome everywhere, and they don't really trade in spycraft unless they're College of Whispers. They basically they are bards. They go around telling stories, and that's where our world mythology stream is going to come into play when we make a bunch of demigods. Their whole purpose is to go around and keep history alive. Tell the stories of the people that lived in the South that are no longer alive or have, irrevocably changed. We're also going to make some domains if we need to. And I'm going to say the paladins are going to have the Oath of Winter, and the clerics we'll deal with, because the clerics have like 3,000 things. But I'm gonna start working on this at some point. We might make a stream out of that too. I might put that in the subclass stream, because we might go through and I might knock some of these out that don't fit the theming of the world necessarily. Obviously, if somebody after that goes, well, I really want to play that, then we'll figure it out. We'll figure out where you fit. But like a genie, I would change that to be like your patron is trapped in an item that you found in the wilds, and it's probably like a lich or something. And they're granting you wishes to get them out. So I'm not necessarily going to completely axe the genie, but it might be themed very differently. Dionysus is absolutely one of the main overseers of bards. I will stick Apollo as the god of Apollos, as we know. Jirachi is a genie or a lich. I mean, potentially. I don't know. It depends how much stock you put in legendaries, because they have a lot of power. How'd they get it? He is bards, wine, revelry, chaos. You know what? He's going to be great for devotion. I'm just going to throw that in right now. Apollo is the god of Apollos and Apollo Industries. What's up, Mikey? Hello, hello. We are doing what some of you are going to find to be incredibly tedious and very boring, and others of you are going to find to be fascinating. We're doing a drill down on Pantheons, at least until we run out of gas here, and then we'll pivot to something else. Dionysus, of course, is the god of Natasha Bedington's. Releasing your inhibitions and feeling the rain on your skin. We're gonna cut devotion for a second. I'm gonna put it right back in, but I'm gonna go through all the things that it could be. I'm gonna say Dionysus is one of the gods of life and living it to the fullest, specifically. Life, peace, because why fight when you can just be drinking and be merry, you know? Like, what are you doing, man? I'm going to put him in the domain of Twilight, because I don't actually know what that domain is about, so I'm making it up. But when do you party? After the sun goes down. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm going to give him Devotion. Yeah, he's not going to have that many right now, and that's okay. That's fine. Hades is the god of death. He's also in this setting, he's going to be the god of riches, because I have always enjoyed that little aspect of it, is that some folks that dug too deep for riches in ancient Greek mythology would just get stuck in the underworld, because they accidentally dug their way into, like, Tartarus, and you can't come back. So this will be death, riches, and I think folks are going to call Hades the Kingmaker, because he has the power to make a kingdom rise and fall in the eyes of the people. He's not actually there to kill you. That's Thanatos or Ares or somebody else would be doing that, but people would see Hades as the end in this setting, is what we're going to go with. Death and riches. I'm going to say he's the... Maybe wealth is a better way to put that. Death and wealth. We're going to say that Hades is many, many, many domains. I'm going to give him death, the grave, life, order, Twilight. Again, I'm kind of making up the Oath of Twilight. I don't know what it is, so I'm just putting it in here. I don't know. If somebody wants to play one, I'll go look up what it is. But until then, I'm just going to stick it in here. Twilight, and then he would be the crown. Glory in the afterlife. You want to be on Hades' good side before you die, so that you can end up in the halls of Elysium, or Valhalla, or whatever you want to call it. Different things for different cultures. And I'm gonna say vengeance too, because death is a deadly thing. Would people who serve him directly be promised a better afterlife? I think they would say that they are, but Hades is a very absent god. He's going to function like a great old one, despite being one of the actual gods that has, like, temples and stuff. People are going to speak for Hades. He's too busy to speak for himself to mortals. Like, why would he bother? And I might say that folks look at him as a way to achieve immortality. Because if he's the one that's responsible for overlooking the dead, then perhaps you could bargain with him and get out. And then very loosely, his name is gonna invoke fear and also hope. Because if you're on death's door, who better to save you than, the god of death, or one of the gods of death? The guy who's literally going to be watching over you for all eternity. Twilight probably doesn't fit Hades. Mikey, can you give me really quick? I'm being fully genuine. Can you give me like a quick rundown of what Twilight does? I have never heard of this cleric domain. I have no idea what it is, and that's why it's in like every single one of these. I am stretching the thing. You are guarding against the forces of the night to maintain the peace of nighttime. Okay. Very good. Okay, thank you. Then yes, we will cut him from there. Dionysus, I will allow him to keep Twilight. He's very much like a non-confrontational god to me. And Demeter's gonna have so many different churches for exactly that reason. I'm gonna say Artemis is probably a Twilight one then. I'm gonna throw that in there. And this is all over the board, but I don't really care right now. Aphrodite absolutely falls in Twilight then. That's good. So thank you, Mikey. Thank you, because I literally never heard of that. Another lesser-known god that would fall pretty well with Twilight, because Twilight sounds fun, it would be Nyx. We do have Nyx. She is down here. We have the... She's gonna cover death and undeath, despite not that really being her shtick. We're taking some liberties. Artemis is perfect for Twilight. Exactly, dude. And I need to put south only. Hey, you know what? We're not gonna do that yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. I should finish out the first of the 3 lists I said I was gonna make before I start making a new thing to work on. Okay. Where did we put Hecate? She might have only had one thing. We gave her corruption and magic. Right? Magic, yeah. Okay. So she is magic and corruption. So depending on where you are, she is either the domain of Arcana or Death, the Grave or Knowledge. I know how to spell. No ledge. There's no ledge there. I don't know what they would be for Paladin Oaths. I gotta read up on Paladin Oaths, man. I haven't run for a Paladin other than Elmar in forever. And the only newer one that I've read up on is Redemption, because I thought that was amazing. So Hecate, if you're in the north, would be the god of magic and knowledge. And if you are in the south, she is Death and the Grave, because they believe that arcane magic is a seed of corruption that leads only to death. Because they've seen it. They've seen it happen. And they watch it happen every time somebody goes into the Deadlands. They see that. So she is going to be probably like the Corruptor or something. We'll come up with cooler names later. And that might not be how you spell Corruptor. I have no idea. I don't really care. The twilight transition from light into darkness often brings calm and even joys. The day's labors end and the hours of rest begin. The darkness can also bring terrors, but the gods of twilight guard against the horrors of the night. Oh yeah, so Artemis is bingo. And Dionysus helps you forget about it. Say, hey, don't worry about it, man. Like, your day is over. So that's actually perfect. So I guessed right for 2 of them and then completely wrong for everyone else. So I'm going to say Aphrodite and Dionysus on both sides of the border probably have very prominent, like, twilight churches. Because if you're in the south, all manner of stuff could come up from the arcane Deadlands. And if you're in the north, you're worried about incursions from Gaia's Cradle going north. Even if that's not necessarily true or the case really ever. That's going to be something that they're worried about. Hermes, for now, obviously, is just like the messenger. He's going to be another one of the god of bards, travelers, merchant vessels. things of that nature. And he's gonna fall probably very squarely in knowledge and the transfer of knowledge. And maybe the Watchers. Again, I don't know what that domain is. I have no clue. Peace and order for Hera, almost certainly. I keep jumping out of the orders here. So this is gonna be hearth, home, marriage, unity. But she's also, like, Hera has some other weird domain stuff. Because she's also the goddess of intrigue. That's how you spell that. Intriage. I can spell. I promise. I'm not dumb, not like people say. Yeah. So she's gonna have a lot of domains. Very, very loosely, she's gonna fall in the forge, but not in the traditional sense. Life, order, trickery. She is the goddess of intrigue. It is a thing that would happen. Trickery, probably devotion. Hermes is called the divine trickster. Oh, heck yeah, dude. We'll come back to him in a second. Forge, knowledge, life, order, trickery, devotion. Exactly, magician. Yeah, I am bending these very heavily so that it's not the case that, oh, I'm a forge domain cleric. I can only worship Hephaestus. Hooray. You might be a forge cleric with, like, really high charisma. And I would let you use charisma as your spellcasting. Because your goddess is literally all about forging new bonds, and what better way to do that than by literally forging something or by maintaining relationships. I know there is a Unity cleric, but I don't think it's, like, legal yet. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna overthink these too much. We're gonna continue to add to these literally for all time. So knowledge. I'll throw trickery in there because that might be kind of fun. Maybe very, very loosely would be vengeance, because vengeance doesn't necessarily have to mean striking somebody down. You could destroy them with secrets that you learned from your bounds with Hermes. And she'll probably have something along the lines of this. And these don't have to be, like, needlessly overcomplicated or super cool right now. Ideally, later we'll come up with something better. But that's a shorthand for saying, like, this is just what it is. And also, I forgot Hephaestus. Because there's so many H's. Unity became peace. Okay. Then, yeah, we're going to... Okay. There we go. Rumors are one of the most dangerous things. Absolutely. Hermes is the god of thieves. We'll throw him in there. Because I'm trying to have Taiki also feel distinct, and it's looking more and more like Taiki is going to get shunted to a minor god. Which, R.I.P. Taiki. Because you're basically like fortune and luck. But you probably fall under the guise of Hermes. Hephaestus. Forge, creation. Arms and armaments. Oh boy. Oh, this didn't keep the text wrapping, dude. My whole thing was like, I'm going to save myself time later. Hephaestus is going to be forge, knowledge, specifically in regards to, like, creation and smithing. Let's say probably life, very loosely. because you might pray to Hephaestus to have your armor preserve you and keep you alive. Let's go with Tempest because of the like Roaring Forge. You might be a fire-based Tempest cleric, which would be kind of sick. And I'm gonna put very loosely. I'm gonna throw War on there, and also Conquest for Paladins, Glory for Paladins, because the idea would be you would have a weapon born of the gods that would bring you to glory, and by proxy would bring you to glory and would take you to Elysium. So Hephaestus can get you there. Where did I put Hestia? Only in peace, huh? Home and family. Okay, well, she might get she might also get placed vaguely under Hera's dominion. I hate to be like shunting all these gods down, but that might just be a way that this shakes out. That's why we're doing this, is just to figure out who's a major and a minor player. Home and family, you would fall under life, order, peace. Actually, not order. You're not. Life, peace, devotion, redemption, because you want your family to be preserved, and you don't give up on family if you believe in Hestia. I'm gonna leave that one there for now. I don't know. Nike is almost certainly gonna get placed under Ares and Athena in that overlap, because they are two of the gods of war that you would pray to, and you would pray to Nike very quickly for victory. So you might just have like symbology of Nike on your armor or your weapons or your shield. Yeah, I mean, she is in a loose sense, yeah. I am looking for more places to put the forge, but all the more reason that I think Hestia is going to fall under here. Because this is marriage and intrigue, and I'm going to have marriage branch out into like family and stuff, but you might have a symbol to Hestia like over your fireplace or something in your house, or something similar. I'm going to do that for now. We're gonna make him like the creator. Let's do something like that. I don't know. I'm throwing shorthand titles on here that are subject to change. So don't think about them too much. Nike is a minor goddess for Ares and Athena overlap. Because she is literally like victory and battle. But this would be war, conquest, maybe vengeance. You're back with some bean juice. You should follow Dionysus for bean juice, because he also makes grape juice. Knight. We're gonna stretch this a little bit. Don't panic. Nyx is gonna have Knight, Undeath, because you need a god for necromancy. You need one, and Nyx holds sway with Hades, at least in this setting. Darkness, we don't really, I don't know. She's probably like a less evil equivalent to like Lolth or something. I imagine the subterranean folk probably really appreciate Nyx, because That she's the one where you'd be like, oh, darkness preserve. That's Nyx. That's who that is. Oh, Dionysus absolutely starts his morning with Irish coffee. That guy knows how to party. Yo, it's the Lord of Gophers himself. Hello. I need to put the Lord of Gophers on this Pantheon. And his portfolio is Gophers. And the domain is the Gopher Cleric. We're gonna like Moon. I don't know. Nyx is such a broad concept. I'm beginning to suspect that I will be sliding her into the Elder Gods. Elder Gods are going to be much more primal forces. Like Gaia for nature. All of it. In all of its aspects. Chronos for like time and destruction. Nyx would be anything to do with night. Like these are primal forces that you wouldn't necessarily pray to, but you respect and fear. And I am going to do that. We're going to do... I've made an executive decision, the first of many. I'm going to put Pan as a minor god. For Artemis, who else have I put for this? I want to say Demeter, Persephone. I don't know if you've answered this, but are these going to have any connection to legendaries like Nike and Victini? Maybe loosely. They'll probably have connections to it in the sense that like they're both inspired by the same thing, in that respect. But I'm not gonna go out of my way just yet to figure that out. But that's not a bad idea. Because I keep saying this is going to be a very, very, very high magic setting. It's not out of the question that you might run across like Victini and pray to it as a symbol from Nike. Like you might see that as a portent or something. Like Victini might come to you in your dreams and like show you a path to victory. And you would see that as a vision from Nike. Nike could also be Zacian and Zamazenta. It could be if I liked them. I'm sorry. That was a cheap shot. That was a cheap shot. That was a cheap shot. Boom, baby. Boom. Oh man. Yeah, can you tell I don't like the Z-Dogs? I don't like them. Okay, Pan's domains. Well, I'm going to keep this very, very limited because this is not necessarily something people would pray to. You will be a Twilight. Ancients. I'm going to say Watchers because I feel like the Oath of the Watchers was like you look over the balance between nature and civilization and make sure one side doesn't press forward. Hot take, Drew doesn't like the box art legendaries for Sword and Shield. Magician, I'll let you in on a secret. I haven't liked the box art legendaries since like Gold and Silver. Oh man. But I have not been shy about that fact. I am not a fan or supporter of the legendaries in most of the games. I feel like they should be uncatchable. And I feel like they just don't belong. They're too strong. I don't like them. They're overpowered on purpose. But that's exactly why they would be in a setting like this. Because everything's going to be overpowered. The folks in the north are literally going to be like flying around on magic carpets and doing all kinds of stuff. That, like, this is the setting where when you're in your setting, when you have an item that was forged like 800 years ago and it's incredibly powerful and this like amazing magical artifact, they're forging those right now in this timeline. Like, that's what's going on here in the north. In the south, you're struggling to survive. But those two civilizations are just, they're like oil and water. Okay, Persephone. She would be a symbol of death and the grave, given her relation to Hades. But also life for her overseeing of nature, the harvest, fertility, food, family, things like that. That's a good point. Hestia would be a Hera and Persephone. But no, I don't want any of those on there. Persephone, death, the grave, life, obviously nature. I mean, you could loosely say like the natural order of things, but I'm not gonna give Persephone Tempest. I'm gonna keep that. If you're a Tempest cleric and you really value nature and you live in the south, you would probably follow Demeter, and all of your spells would probably be cold themed. Blizzard-esque. Would Persephone have that many paladin oaths? Persephone, honestly, is probably a southern goddess. She's big into rebirth. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, now I'm kind of bummed because a sick title for Demeter would be the Icebringer, but here we are. Persephone, we're gonna give you Ancients, because that I think is gonna be the only Paladin oath that is allowed in the South, unless you can pitch it to me when you're making your character of why you would have something else. Also, the Gopher Lord would be an old god. Can I be a druid that turns into a gopher? You know what? If you're not, I'll be offended. Oceans, earthquakes, wealth, trade, travel. Very loosely, no, I'm not going to put bards in there, but I'm going to say bards are heavily. I'm going to give Poseidon, I'm going to wrest storm control from just Zeus and also give it to Poseidon. Speaking of which, whoops. Because Poseidon would have some presence, but it's not major. Arcana, life, because life needs things to live. Nature, tempest. Say glory. And I mean the open sea would fall in there, but I'm gonna cut that. I don't even know what that is, and I'm not gonna leave this on here because I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Poseidon would be closer to like a fathomless warlock. These would be your Perseus Blackwaters. They would probably now worship what they would call Poseidon. I'll come up with a cool title for him later. Thanatos. I'm gonna bump you down here, buddy. And we'll come back to you. I am gonna give Pan almost complete governance over the Feywild and things that can and can't come through. Magician is the first gopher druid. Heck yeah, dude. Get it. Taiki, we're gonna make you a minor god or goddess. My apologies. But here we are. You are gonna be a minor goddess. For Hades. I can't make you a minor goddess for a minor goddess. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't care. These two are probably two sides of a mirror, and that might even be your holy symbol. You might flip it, where the Nike side would be victory in battle, and the Taiki side would be like success. That I've decided. These are going to be these two together, I think, are going to be a package deal. You get a college friend coming for the weekends, you got to go. Dude, have fun, Mikey. Enjoy the company. Thanks for swinging by, my dude. Always good to see you. We're going to say success, prosperity, wealth, and luck. And this is going to be like trickery, not conquest. I don't want any overlap with the Nike side unless you flip your holy symbol. If you're a clockwork sorcerer, your only option is Kronos as an elder. If you follow a god, then pretty much, yeah. Because I'm going to have the elder gods be treated as separate. Because you could go meet them. Like, those are things you can do. You can go commune with Gaia in the cradle. You can do that. These guys, you have to, like, make sacrifices and trust in priests and clerics to get a hold of. Or, you know, be a druid and commune with them and learn what their intents are. Otherwise, you're basically relying on like an oracle who can do it for you. But if you follow like one of these guys or one of the minor gods, you can just go find them. They're immortal, but you could go talk to them. You just might not be the same person, place, or thing that you were when you went in there. I mean, it sucks because conquest kind of makes sense, but I'm thinking conquest in the sense of like, maybe it's glory, and I'm thinking of glory in the wrong way. Let's leave it with something like that, because it's funny. For now, he's the Godfather. Pun intended. Portfolio for Zeus. I mean, obviously, like, storms, lightning. I'm going to say creation. Artificers probably would fall under Hephaestus and Zeus. In the north, they would probably fall under Hecate, but in the south, probably be Zeus. Nature. I mean, he's literally the god of gods. Pretty much everybody would respect you. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. I'm going to say the domain is all of them. Because if you hold sway with Zeus, you hold sway with everybody. And it's very difficult to do. Because he's fickle and temperamental, and you want to stay on his good side, but it's not always possible. So we have Hephaestus, we have Hecate, we have Hera, we have Persephone and Demeter, we have that, Chaos and Rebirth, so we can delete these. Peace, order, light, life, redemption. We'll keep treachery. We have Thanatos already done. Deimos, I have to double check the name for. I can cut this note because that no longer really applies based on what we've come up with. Victory, corruption, we have. Whoopsie daisies. Bro. I'm so bad at these. Okay. Give me this. He's also the god of hospitality, leaning towards justice and civility. Can you remember the third architect you were missing? I don't, no. I had Rot, Woe, and something else. But the players in that campaign killed the third one, which is why I don't remember. They encountered the architect of Rot many, many times, but I do not remember the other one, which tells me it wasn't that important. Because I think they wiped him out in like 2 turns. It wasn't even a big deal. And I was like, well, that's a huge bummer, because you guys just killed like a demigod. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to allow Zeus to be literally, like, he is an overarching theme. But I'm not going to flesh out too much what this is, because if you're not in the north, Zeus does not grant you powers. That is not a thing you can do. Because this dude is like the holiest of holy paladins, and he worships Zeus, and he runs the largest church of Zeus, and Zeus plays favorites. So everybody respects and prays to Zeus, because it's super easy to get his attention in a bad way, but it's really hard to get his attention in a good way. Okay, so let's grab all of this, slide it up to here. So these are the ancient gods, the elder gods. These are the things. And we're going to take this, and we're going to take this, and we're going to wrap that text. Thanatos is the architect of Ra. And Deimos is the architect of Woe. Zeus is that hard to get that when you ignore him, he either begs your attention or makes you regret not giving him attention, but when you do, nothing happens. Yeah, he is the abusive significant other that ignores you when you shower him with praise, but the minute you ignore him, like lightning strikes and burns down your village. He's temperamental, dude. He's a monster. He's a bad dude. He's one bad dude for real. I need to look up this real quick because I need to make sure I have the right person in mind. Personal god of dread and terror. Yeah, there we go. He's the son, one of the sons of Ares and Aphrodite. The twin brother of Phobos. So this dude is all about the undead, ghosts, revenants, things like that. You want to be a necromancer? You go meet this guy, and he shows you the way. But you want to be a necromancer? You go meet this guy, and he shows you where to find bodies and like how to preserve them. This guy can show you how to reanimate them. This guy can show you where to find bodies. Because if you can follow him, if you know where he's gonna be, he shows up where there's a bunch of bodies, and he'll be there. But we need to actually move these to here and delete that. Because I need to now fit these into the same way that we did everything else. And you regrettably, need to go. Because you are a minor god. Okay, so Thanatos is gonna fall under pretty much like death in the grave. That's about it. Death in the grave. And I'm gonna give him some sway over Oathbreakers. And I need to do this again. Because this should be over here. Death, undeath, necromancy. We're going to start with something like that. We're going to have Kronos, Gaia, Prometheus, and change. So we're going to do something like this. So Nyx is going to be a Twilight domain. And the goal for these is that they are very, very niche. Like, most people don't just pray to the elder gods that aren't Gaia. Like, you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody that's, like, super devoted to these guys, because they're primal forces. So we're going to give her Twilight. I'm also going to say Knowledge. And I'll put the Watchers in here. And I think that's... I'll put Trickery in there as well. Trick of the Light. That's probably where that expression comes from. Is like, if someone makes an illusion and it fools you, it was a trick of the light, and the only way that can happen is if you have domain over shadows. So that's probably where that comes from. Let's keep that. Kronos is going to be time, creation, and destruction. And I don't know what to do with him. He might be... He might not fit anything. He might be like cultists or warlocks. There. It's world clock. Dude, I cannot type. Oh no. Creation, chaos, rebirth. She's going to be a patron of druids and rangers. Wololo. A Wololo patron. If you are not a Wololo patron, then they don't want to talk to you. Chaos, fire. I'm going to say betrayal, deceit. Because they're going to have different views of this guy depending on where you are. This is him in the north. They see him as chaos, fire, betrayal, and deceit, but fire in the sense of like destruction and everything that it can destroy. But they also respect it because without fire, you don't have a forge, and without a forge, you don't have any of your magic items or weapons. You don't have civilization without a forge. So they respect this guy, but they don't outwardly worship him. Where in the south, they're like, heck yeah, they see themselves as like the new Promethei, I guess. Is they're going into the north. They're making those dangerous visions, or not visions, dangerous treks up north to steal stuff and bring it back to their guys down south to see what they can do about it, see what they can learn. Kronos tends to be really nebulous because he is time. Yeah, and I keep spelling it with a K, and that's because I played Age of Mythology, but we are going to do this because that makes way more sense. He's going to be he is a great old one. If you want powers from Kronos, you'll have like super cool time-based powers, but you're a great old one warlock. Congratulations. This guy is going to be a warlock patron of the fiend. Okay, we can cut that. That I feel like is pretty well handled. We're gonna put these three in minor gods. So we have Deimos, Dolkos, Phobos, and Hypnos. I'm also gonna put the muses down here, and I'll explain why maybe later. The Architect of Woo. The Architect of Woo. Oh no. It's canon. There you go. The god of Woos. He's feared by all. Okay, so Deimos is the Architect of Woe. His domains are fear, terror, pain. Dolos being the treachery fellow. The god of Woos and Wooloos. Exactly. The most dangerous of all, second only to powerful warlocks of the Lord of Gophers. Fear, agony, despair. That's not how you... that? Despair. Why does that look bad? I don't know. Whatever. I'm leaving it. Dreams, sleep, and each is unique, individual, and each functions independently of other gods. Okay, there we go. Woe, rot, and ooh. Now you need the Lord of Gophers to be an old god in your campaigns. Do it. Do it. The muses. Typically these are forge. We'll say knowledge. Honestly, they're pretty much anything. I'm just gonna say all. Okay. So it's up to the individual player, if they have a muse, who they are, what they are, when they show up, and how they help you. That's going to be a storytelling point. I'm not going to force somebody to have a muse, but if they pick one, there it is. But they don't give you power. They come in and help you with something. But you wouldn't, like, your warlock patron wouldn't be your muse. It wouldn't work like that. But if you're a bard, you almost certainly have a muse that follows you around and inspires you to do things. It is how you give inspiration to other people. Patrons of artificers, enchanters, alchemists, and bards. Okay, if you are one of these 4 things, you can have a muse. Can the muses have relic song and have a magical girl transformation? If the player is willing to commit to that hard, then yes. Absolutely. Nerd. So this guy is necromancers, torturers, way of shadow monks, okay. Dolos is we're just gonna say whisper bards. This would be Oathbreakers, Rogues, Evil Aligned Bards. And actually, I'm going to cut that because I've already said that's not a thing. So this would be Oathbreakers and Rogues. Yeah, mechanically, that's fine. These don't need to be super fleshed out because you got to go looking for these dudes, and you might never find them. Phobos for fear, agony, and despair. This would be... also necromancers. I'm going to give them the same overflow here, but we're going to say undying warlocks. Because they get that like aspect of dread type deal. Shadow sorcerers. We're going to make you the Architect of Dread. You always plan on making a Thieves Guild leader named the Gopher Lord? They would have secret tunnels, but now I feel like it must be an Elder God. ¿Por qué no las dos? Why not have a Thieves Guild and the leader is the Gopher Lord, but they're actually an Elder God? They don't have to be limited. Make it be what you need it to be, my dude. Hypnos. Dreams and sleep. Circle of Dreams. I have hit the caps lock button. These are, I'm gonna say dreams, rest, nightmares. You know what? Oracles, enchanters, conjurers, summoners. Alright, divination wizards tied with dreams as well. Oh yeah. So this is going to be archfey warlocks, divination wizards. Because if you're a divination wizard in this setting, your title is oracle. So you're an archfey warlock, a divination wizard, or oracle. Anything that messes with the brain. If you're like bards, probably do this, because it's a lot easier to get at somebody if they're sleeping. Thieves, because you might, if you're a thief rogue, you might pray to Hypnos to put whoever you're robbing into a deeper than normal sleep, so that you would like have advantage on stealing stuff. Because if they're sleeping and it's harder for you to wake them up, you have a larger margin for error to get you out of there. We can cut this and this. And do this. Because everything over here is going to be churches and things of that ilk. Hello, Gift of Gabby 1. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the world building. We have come a long way today. My goodness. Okay. This is Father Time, of course. Shorthand, baby. And this is Mother Nature. He would probably have some sort of very bizarre name. I don't know what button I just hit there. But that was fun. Okay. So we're going to drag these up to here. And you are going to get a color bucket now. These are going to be minor gods, elder gods, and major gods. Break things up with very, very stark colors. I am all about it. These are going to be blue. These are going to be green. And red. Okay, so these, there we go. This is our Pantheon for now. The only thing we have left to do is fill in these. And let's see. And I've already decided I don't like this. I'm going to make this normal. I hate it. Major gods, their portfolios will be orange. Their domains will be yellow. And their churches and orders will be pink. We will leave these normal white. This is totally fine. We will rewrite, because I am not Joel. I do not have mastery over Excel. We will simply redo this. Portfolio, domain. Churches, orders, and circles. There we go. If I was Joel and I had mastery over Excel, I wouldn't have to worry about this. But I am not, and I do not. So here we are. There it is. I was going to have it so that if I scroll down, this thing stays. But honestly, this is fine. This is fine. This is just for me to look at for now, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Gift of Gabby, I am doing quite well. How are you? What are we working on? We are working on a campaign setting for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Da-da-da! We did most of this in the last 2 days, so pretty much most of this was done yesterday. And then today we are doing a deep dive on the Pantheon that we set up. So here we are. We're about 90 minutes in today to organizing and making this make mechanical sense for D&D. So these would be your major gods. This is the sort of stuff you would pray to them for, and these are the domains or paladin oaths or things that would follow them. And then also very loosely like druid circles and bard colleges and stuff. But these I'm going to consider more of an organization rather than like a religion, for lack of a better word. So, Aphrodite, where is she legal? Because in this setting we're gonna have two distinct spaces. There's gonna be the north, which is very high magic, very high level divine casters, and arcane users, and then there's the south, which is very primal, wildlands, forest folk. They live in tents, and they use more natural magic. So it's not necessarily that they don't use arcane or divine. It is that all of their magic tends to be tied to nature, given to them or borrowed from the land around them. So Aphrodite would probably have a ton of sway up north because they have, and I'm not going to be shy about it, they have first world problems. Things up there are great. Things up there are perfectly fine. So she's going to be much more prominent up north because down south you're not praying for love, you're hoping to survive. So we would probably have the Order of the Lonely Hearts. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. She would have... The more I look at it, the more I want to take war out of there, but it's fitting. It makes sense. I'm just not going to focus on it. There's probably not an entire church dedicated to, like, love and war. It's just it's an expression that people would have. Order of the... No, I was going to say, like, Order of the Charmed Mind, but that's a little on the nose. Because these guys, the guys up north are very pompous. They have a lot of very long titles, like the Seat of the Righteous Duke, Byron the Valiant. Which I'm now realizing has not had a comma there the entire time. The Seat of the Righteous, Duke Byron the Valiant. Because that's his title. He is the Seat of the Righteous. But his name is Duke Byron the Valiant. But his title, because they're big on titles up there. They're all nobles. So Aphrodite, let's figure this out here. And honestly, if we can't think of one for Aphrodite, let's move on. Let's look at Apollo. Because Apollo is going to be super easy. Because there's going to be like 6,000 of these. Order of the Holy Light. And I'm gonna borrow from Pelor, and he's gonna be the Dawn Father for now. Order of the Holy Light of the Dawn Father. Father. There we go. Order of the White Swan. Oh, that's beautiful. Drew is using Google Sheets. Oh my goodness. Hello, Joel. Hello, sir. Dude, not only am I using Google Sheets, I'm using it poorly. And not at all to its full glory and purpose. But we're world building, Joel. We're doing it. We're world building, baby. I freaking love Order of the White Swan, Austin. That's beautiful. I see colors are being used at least. Oh, yeah. I love very garish colors. I'm all about that. And Joel, before you roast me for my layout, this is just my notes. These are okay. These are literally just D&D classes that I don't know and have written down. Order of the White Swan is so good. But yeah, as soon as somebody mentions swans, aka a bird, Joel popped in. It was so good. But Joel, thank you for resubscribing to the channel. Yeah, that's the point. Like, don't roast me because I put it behind chat on purpose. That was the point. Because those are just my notes, and it's literally just subclasses, so they're super unimportant. But I am bending the Greek Pantheon to fit this world, dude. Because you and I have had a conversation where I told you I knew what I wanted to do. where I've been talking about the Birthright campaign for like 600 years. Yeah, baby. I know how I want to do it. I know how I want to do it. So I figured what better way than to build this with the folks at home. And it's been very fun. And Austin came up with like the single greatest name for a church I will ever hear. Order of the White Swan is amazing. That is such a good name. Woo! Hello, Eye of Thoth. That is a sizable pantheon. Yes, sir. These are your major gods. Most folks will have at least probably 2 or 3 of the major gods. These are the elder gods that you probably would only follow if you're into the occult stuff. And these are minor gods, which you could actually go meet. And they're out doing stuff. These are like demigods and stuff. We're going to fill this in later with more stuff. That'll be probably its own stream. It's coming up with demigods and other minor deities that we want to fill in there. And we'll probably make some of our own. And I'm also realizing I need to take the minor gods and goddesses out of here because we have a place for them now. So don't panic, everyone. We're going to move all of these things away. You know what? Just for now, just boop. Boop. There we go. Boop, boop. There we go. And boop, boop. Hooray! There we go. People are brainstorming stuff. And I just ask dumb questions and complicate stuff so people won't take it and do unnecessary work. Yay! Hellenic inspiration? Absolutely. Eye of Thoth. I have shamelessly just jacked the Greek Pantheon for my purposes. Is this just general stuff for the world, or are you starting the actual prep? No, we're just doing world building stuff. Everything on here is going to be for my notes, and then will help me answer questions that players have when they're making characters. And we had Devin in here yesterday. Devin and I had a lovely round of conversation surrounding this. So I do not prevent any potential or guaranteed players in this game that may or may not ever happen from seeing any of this. I encourage it, but yeah. Anyways, we were making some of these. Order of the White Swan is so good. I'm gonna say Order of the Broken Shield. Is Zeus roleplayed as a mafioso godfather? Is it just a title? I just put that because it was funny. He will get an actual title later, but while I was giving everybody the names, I thought the Godfather would be hilarious because he's the father of the gods. Zing. I did that for me. This was for me because I thought it was funny. He'll get an actual title later. The only ones I know I'm keeping are the Kingmaker and the Dawnfather. Those are the only ones I know I'm keeping. Because something like the Heartbreaker for Aphrodite, it would depend what church you follow on, like what title you would call them by. Order of the Broken Shield. We're gonna say the Holy Church of the Shattered Lance. This is all vague and macro. That the time the campaign starts, you can't RP it at all. Oh yeah. Pretty much like Zeus only talks to the Duke. Like that's it. That's the only person he talks to. Or the king, sorry. He only talks to the king. Zeus only speaks to this guy. And Athena primarily speaks through this guy, but he uses that to his advantage. Because Athena will give people visions, but very rarely, if ever, gives actual counsel to anybody. But that guy gets it. He gets counsel from her. Because these are like the most pious and holy people. They've given everything to these to these deities. So they have powers and stuff that nobody should have. Order of the White Swan. I'm writing order a lot. We're just going to say the Holy Light of the Dawnfather. That's going to be a church. The Broken Shield is going to be a guild of fighters. No. I want you to go to another line. But I don't know how to make that happen in Excel. Whatever. For now, it's fine. It's fine. We'll flesh these out in another stream. We'll give everybody like 1 or 2 lines. What they are, who they are, alignments, general concerns. Joel, I am trying to have this be on this line. Same box, different line. Oh, he's done it. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. I was like, I tried shift. It's got to be shift or control. So I did it. I got there. I got there. The Chapel of the Lady's Mirror. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere, gang. Let's make it weird. No. Next line. Please. Chapel of Our Lady's Mirror. There we go. So this is going to be for light domain clerics. We need one for... They would probably have like a big college. Mental tips transferred. Thank you. Who is the primary god of thieves? There isn't really one. There's a couple. They are down here. It would be... probably like Tyche or Hermes. The Flock of the Bent Crook. Oh my god, you guys are so good at this. It's so good. Okay, this is going to be a Holy Thieves Guild. So these are religious thieves. Probably like frontline spies. I do love... I'm going to keep some of these very vague. And anything we don't end up using might just be like a tavern or something that has their holy symbols over it. We could do something with illumination. We could. We got to figure it out. Because these would be... The folks down south that pray to Ares are going to... Actually, this would be... It would probably be like this. Order of the Shattered Lance and the Holy Order of the Stalwart Shield. We're going to do something like that, subject to change, of course. This is north specific, this is south specific. Because the folks down south don't have or use lances, but they would have techniques to... Like, a lot of their weaponry is going to be very rugged, but designed to counter very well-made things that are, like, mass-produced. So if somebody comes charging at you with a lance, you might have, like, a pitchfork-style device to pin it into the ground, jump up, and kick them off their horse, and shatter that lance. So this would be like a fighter's guild down south. And that would be, like, one of your techniques that you have. is if somebody's ever charging you on horseback, you can make a check to like kick them off their horse and break their weapon, which would be pretty sick. I would like that. I like that a lot. The strings song is whoopsie daisies is gonna be. Now it's doing the opposite of what I want. What have I done? Okay, the string song is a Bard's College. But I want that to be here. There we go. Okay. Dude. Make that big again. Thank you. There we go. The Shrine of the Silver Circle and the Grove Keeper's Conclave. I like all of these things. Shrine of the Silver Circle, Grove Keeper, Conclave. These are beautiful, and I love them, and you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Oh my goodness. We are all about alliteration up north. Down south would probably be something like the Grove Keeper's Conclave. Like, this is Druids. Like, that's a Druid circle. And the Shrine of the Silver Circle. I need to ignore this because I'm like, oh, that's too similar, but I wrote that. So I didn't write this. This is good. Shrine of the Silver Circle is going to be like an ancient Druidic temple. That might be somewhere they can go. That might be somewhere that you have to go to like burn incense and commune with Artemis. The Parliament of Owls. Oh, you got me because you know. How did you know that I love that owls are called a parliament? The Parliament of Owls. This is going to be the King's War Council. The Order of the Armored Zodiacs. I don't get the reference, but that is a cool name. I'm going to write it down, but I don't know what I would do with it, but we waste not, want not here. Boop. This would be the Circle of Winter. And at least for now. The Armored Zodiacs could be 12 Elite Kingsguard. That would be pretty sick. The Reformed Church of the Mind's Eye. I like that because that implies that it was broken. That's good. That's good. That's freaking great right there. Because then, you know what you have here then? Is you could have a schism that has occurred. As if they're the Reformed Church of the Mind's Eye, what church did they splinter off from? And why? This could be good. That could be good. So this might be a... This is like a holy academy for knights and paladins. And monks. I'm going to throw monks in there too. I think Sun Soul monks would fit very, very nicely in the Reformed Church of the Mind's Eye. Fractured by a focus on war and battle strategy, the common folk instead find more solace in the church focusing on wisdom and teaching. Absolutely. I think the Reformed Church of the Mind's Eye is... it's probably more a focus on, rather than trying to fight against nature and break through Gaia's cradle, it's more a sense of like, how could we learn to harness its power? And this is basic and boring, and we're going to cut that for a minute. But Demeter's only going to have... I need an abandoned temple. She would have abandoned temples deep within Gaia's cradles. And scarce worship among druids. Demeter does not like to be contacted. She is very, like, anti-human. She is not a fan of, like, people in general. I'm using that as a very widespread term. Like, she might have, like, one druid out in the woods that people have kind of heard of. And, like, if you could reach them, they would probably be super powerful because you could just completely obliterate the North's harvests for a whole season. The Temple of the Last Harvest, Doomsdayers, that would be pretty funny. The Domestic Church of the Wavering Vine, the Order of Vintage Desires. Oh man, you've won me with that. This is 1,000%. This is a cult of revelers. Like, these dudes just go out drinking. They masquerade as a church, but it's super flamboyant. Like, they're making no attempt to hide it. These are like hedonists. They're just out to have a good time, and they get their kicks out of like swaying people away from other churches. That's what these guys do. I love that. Order of Vintage Desires. They're like, come on, man. Why are you going to church, dude? You could just go drink and party with us in the fields. Be so good. Yes. Yes. I like the names for the Demeters, but I am not going to put a full standing church anywhere. So maybe these are our abandoned ones. We are going to put the... I'm going to put Temple of the Last Harvest in here. And there's going to be like some crazy magic items in there. I kind of like the idea that Dionysus has like two groups and they're both just rampant cults. They're not doing anything necessarily like evil, but they're just sowing chaos because they can. The Quaking Cavalry, Mercenary Paladins of Poseidon, that's pretty sick. Maybe these are... I like the idea that these are Tritons. And they're, like... I'm going to have these Tritons be, like, Aquaman levels of super strength. Because they trained for so long in the intense pressures at the bottom of the ocean that now that they're out here, they, like... They probably have crazy, like, jump height and distance. They could just, like, fling themselves around. I like those guys. Dionysus, hands of the lords and ladies, the Fae protectors, the only sober ones who keep the parties going. They're the designated drivers that collect everybody's keys and put them in a bowl. For the domestic church, I was thinking it was used by the North to show their mastery over nature. Kind of. Because we have a story reason for why the North doesn't have to do anything with nature, but it's a little convoluted for now. It'll probably change, but the queen was a 20th level nature domain cleric who basically cursed the forest to never spread, and in so doing lost all of her powers. But it's irreversible and immutable. You're gonna send me some art on Discord, Joel? Oh baby. Make them Tritons who ride seahorses? Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna ride Kelpies. And yes, I'm stealing that from but I don't care. They're Tritons that ride Kelpies, and they like these guys are feared, and they go to the highest bidder, which usually is going to be the North. But these are the guys that if you try, like if you're one of the Order of the Shattered Lance fighters and you run across these guys, you turn and run. Because you go to like kick them off their horse, you'll just break your leg when you impact their chest because they're that strong. Like these guys are beef. They are beefcakes. They are very strong dudes. All right, what do we got? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We're getting art. We're getting art. Art is arriving. Oh my goodness. Oh, these are sick. I feel so bad teasing you guys right now, but I can't show you these yet. Oh. Joel, you sly dog. I shouldn't have looked at these yet. I should have waited. Oh, these are sick. Okay, I'm getting distracted. It's for good reason, but I'm getting distracted. I gotta get back in here. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. The transmitters of revelations, or the revolutionary transmitters. What about... Because I like this for a Thieves Guild up north. This is good. Because it falls in the naming convention for Thieves Guilds that I really, really, really like. Is like the flock. And basically like a recruiter would be a shepherd. Sometimes literally. Like these guys might have a pasture that you go to. And if you say the right things, you get in contact with the flock of the bent crook. And these would be the guys that recruit you, and like this is the only way to be an arcane trickster. So like if you run across an arcane trickster, they probably, actually no, I'm not going to say probably, they came through the flock of the bent crook. Because these guys, I am not making a distinction here between divine and arcane magic. It's pretty much like natural and unnatural magic. So if you're an arcane trickster rogue, you are a product of this flock. And thus you would follow Hermes. Hades, the mausoleum of coin. I do like the idea that any church of Hades is also a bank. We need... This is going to be like the This is going to be the Bank of Tartarus and the... Elysian Vaults. And these guys are going to work like the Orzhov from Ravnica. These guys, like, they have all the money. They probably have some sway over, like, ghosts. Like, you might, like, ghosts might work at these banks so that you can't rob them because they're already dead. And honestly, I think that one's a little too basic. I'm just going to keep the Elysian Vaults. And maybe it's just the Elysian Vault. I like that. Run by ghosts. Order of the Righteous Furies, the Royal Torturers. Oh, that's right. Oh, God, I got to put the Furies down here, don't I? Let's throw them in there. Although, you know what? As much as I do like their characters, we're kind of okay because I have Phobos and Deimos. Like these two dudes are basically going to be my rendition of the Furies. As much as I do like those, I do really like them. I like the Furies. Let's see. Dionysus, the Red River Pilgrimage. A darker mystery cult whose debaucheries divulge into blood sacrifice. Only performed in the dead of night. Oh, baby. That is pretty dang good. Because that takes a darker spin on these guys. Let's make it... Pilgrims of the Red River. And I think it's funny in my head that sacrificial and occult worshippers of Dionysus, he doesn't like them. He probably wants them to stop. He's like, guys, chill. We're here to party. And they're like, a goat for you. And he's like, please stop. This is so gross. The Gilded Grave could work for something Hades related. Use the name for a group affiliated to a wealthy lich. That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. Elysian Vault. I'm gonna write that down, and we might run with that. We might not. I don't know. That is a cool name though. I do love alliteration in these, especially in the north. Unless it's a thieves guild. If it's a thieves guild, I'm looking for names like this. This is the stuff that I can really get behind. Is if it's a thieves guild that is a normal word that you could say, it's a lot more fun if you have a thief player to then teach them thieves cant around those terms. It's way better. Way more fun. Rather than, I don't let my players say I say or write in thieves cant, because that's not what it is. It's not a language. It's a cipher. It's way more fun. Okay. So Hecate the Corrupter. There are no shrines or temples to this deity south of the forest line. Down south, she's like the devil. Like they fear her a lot. They're very superstitious because she's the corrupter. She's the corrupter down south. But she's going to need another nickname for up north. But you know what? I have figured something out. The manatees have an idea ball, so hold tight, everyone. This is a group of exiles in the Arcane Deadlands, hired as guides. So the Scions of the Forgotten are going to be people that got corrupted in the south and became beastmen. And then we're no longer welcome to stay within Gaia's cradle because they refused treatment. But they sell their services, or trade their services more accurately. They trade their services to lead an expedition into the Deadlands, gather arcane relics, scrolls, anything like that, and bring them back to the north. So you hire these people. The torchbearer up north. She is often pictured with a torch and is leading the north to magic. I like that. Torchbearer, the Lightbringer, things like that. we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna give her a third name. She's the Voidwalker to these guys. And we're gonna change this from Forgotten to Voidwalker. There we go. She's known as the Lamplighter, bringer of occult knowledge. Okay, I gotta be honest. No disrespect. The Lamplighter is sick. That is a cool name. And I'm gonna cut the Corruptor from here because that's just understood. The folks down south are like to deal with her is to embrace death. The Lamplighter, the Voidwalker. She is affiliated with threes. Okay, then maybe she does have three names. So this would be the South's name, the North's name, and the Arcane Deadlands name. Ooh, baby. She's affiliated with threes. That's very good. She is the triple goddess. So I think when we get to a point where we're making holy symbols, or otherwise, holy symbols, iconography, we're going to make our own for a lot of these. And I think she's going to be a lady with three faces. So the Church of the Glowing Hearth is going to be a very, I think, neutral, very basic church. You could cross Hecate up with Morrigan from Celtic Norse myth. Devin's going to love you for that. A northern name for those who do not know her, a southern name for those who think they know her, and her true name used in Hush Corners. That's sick. I like that. Church of the Glowing Hearth, a very basic holy church for now. And we'll figure out who runs these places later. The Church of the Glowing Hearth is a basic holy church focused on family and relationships. Things like that. Because not all of these need to be like super deep and complicated. Devin has returned. Devin has returned. We were just talking about you because somebody said that we could say that Hecate is also part of... you could cross her with someone from Norse mythology. Dude, we're working on the Pantheon, man. We're hard at work in the Pantheon days. Things are getting exciting, you could say. Where Zeus has a couple. Zeus has a couple, and one of these is going to be really fun to make because it already exists in my world, but it doesn't have a name. It never has. It has never had a name. So I'm going to dig deep in here and I'm going to find some lore, and we're going to... Ah, yes, the cult of Deletirus. That's a fun temple. The golden dagger. Yeah. Umber Hulks. Yeah, this is fine. The Crimean Fields. The Everwood. Gelatinous cubes. Gelatinous cubes. Because I need a name that does not... have naughty words in it anymore, because we might record this. And not that I see these particular words as naughty, but screw it, we're just gonna do it. So plug your ears, kids, if you've never heard me say dirty words. But these are the Helldivers. They are... How the heck do you spell this word? I get it wrong literally all the time. There we go. So that's these guys. These are, if you're in the south and you are like openly praying to Zeus, this is what you do to try to get his attention. You ride your griffin, you fly in front of the sun, and you dive down onto people. And I was talking with Devin about these guys yesterday, because they're super freaking cool, and I love them. I don't remember where I took this idea from. It was probably Matt Colville at some point. But these dudes are like barbarians, and they rage, and then they fling themselves off their griffins. So they take half damage from the fall, and then they land on you doing like a ton of extra damage because they have the momentum behind it. And then they land at like half HP, and you're probably dead. And then they fight whoever's left for like 2 rounds while they're raging, and then their griffins come and snatch them up and fly them out again. They're like shock troopers. Prominent and famous in the south. Feared in the north. So these guys, a minor god to them would be one of these two. Like one of the gods of fear, probably both of them, because I think I'm going to link them together. And honestly, what I'm going to do is this. Yeah. I know. I'm trying to be quicker. Okay, so these two are linked. Like these guys are the same. Let's show that with a purple link. These two dudes are forever tied together, and we're gonna do the same thing down here. And I know there's probably quicker ways to do this, but your boy's slow and tired, and the caffeine's not working today. So we're gonna make it happen. Okay, so these two are linked together. So if you follow one, you almost certainly follow the other, and your holy symbol flips. And I think if you follow these two, we're gonna come up with something where your holy symbol is like 2 daggers that are looped, and they're cutting in on each other. Like these guys are the double-edged sword, I think is what you call them. It was a long night, dude. It was, but it was awesome. It was an amazing chit chat. We're gonna cut. Actually, I'm gonna leave that because that's a note for me, and I don't want to lose that. But these guys are. These are the twin blades, and we're gonna come up with something for these two. All right, you playing also tonight? Yeah, we are filming in like 3.5 hours, so I got time. But yeah, we are. Devin and I met up and did some work on this, so I wrote a bunch more last night. I'll cover this in a later time. Right now, what we're doing is this. So this is pretty well done. And then we're gonna take out this, and then our next stream will probably do. We might start with people and culture, figure out how that came from the gods, Because once we have some orders and some churches and some like druid circles and stuff, we'll know how the people formed their belief systems. At least in that sense. And then we'll start placing the people in the world, and then one of these streams is going to be like making a map. If I can get Hexographer to work again, we'll dive into that. Another fun combo, maybe combine the Furies and the Valkyries. Have them serve under whichever god is affiliated with Judgment. Oh yeah. That would be pretty sick. You know what? Why don't we have a foil to these guys? So we'll have the Valkyries here. Because there's a reason these guys are only here for like 2 or 3 rounds of combat at a time. It's because the Valkyries will ride out and like shoot them down with like thunder lances and stuff. Like it's not safe in the skies. And they're faster than the Griffins, but nobody can fly over Gaia's Cradle. So these guys will they basically have to link up with a druid so they can get free passage in, fly up, dive down, and then run back through the forest so that they can't be followed. So it's going to be tense. It's going to be tense if anybody plays either one of these on either side. It's going to be a lot of combat stuff. But that might be something really fun for a Birthright player to have, is like you have Pegasus Knights on standby ready to fly out and protect your lands. Okay, so I don't know that Persephone is going to have any standing organization. I think she's going to have a small church to the north, but it's not going to have anything to do with harvest or fertility. It's just going to be, harvest or nature. It's just going to be like fertility, family, and life. Okay, so I know this is a bit late, but Hecate was weirdly popular, so she spread throughout Europe. The triple goddess of Wicca and Morrigan, who became a triple goddess, are all associated with her. Ooh. I do love her as, maybe she'll get a cool name of, like, the triple kit or something. We'll figure that out. The triad or something. I have no idea. Oh, if I slide that over, we start losing things.
Ah! Oh no!
If I do like this. I'm just going to cut this barred one, honestly. Like, just delete that column. There we go. That's better. They'll have similar symbols, a 3-faced goddess or the full moon and 2 crescents, and they are all dark goddesses. Heck yeah, dude. This is going to be sick. She's going to be fun. She is going to be very, very fun. It's going to be awesome if somebody plays a Beastman from the Deadlands. That's going to be cool. Okay, so Persephone's church in the north is going to be very much associated with life and death. And I think she's going to have a very, very prominent presence in farmland, not in the big cities. So like right outside. So she's going to be a very much more so a goddess for like the peasantry. Because people don't worship nature up north, but you still need a good harvest. So you better be praying to somebody. You better be doing something. Making sure that you're not just screwed. So it would probably be like it's going to be, again, much more of an individual basis on what gods people are worshiping. Persephone, what do I call you? You're going to have a couple. You're going to be another one that's got at least 2 names. She might be like the cursed daughter or something. up north. The gatekeepers is gates to life and death. That might be kind of cool. They are probably a prominent mortuary. The Grange Heart for Persephone. That's actually a pretty sick title for her. I think I'm not gonna say and right now because I'm having a bit of a writer's block on what else they would do. So I think Half Divine. Thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard. Welcome. Order of the Gatekeepers, I think, is just a prominent mortuary and maybe even a graveyard. The Grange Heart is a cool title, though. I do like that. We're gonna write that somewhere so that doesn't get lost in the seas. Hello, Half Divine. Hello. Let's see. I don't think I wrote down anything from Hephaestus. I gotta go back up. Scroll back up in chat. So we're gonna need... Hephaestus is probably... Actually, not even probably. He's gonna have the most organizations. Because I need... Artificers, Forge Clerics, Blacksmiths, Builders, Architects. He has a new name. Primarily a dwarven seat of worship. What's the term I am looking for? We're just gonna say taken by elves and men. Taken by elves and men. Forge Masters is going to be... It's basically a council of all the best craftsmen. Because I actually have to... I literally have to go look at my notes for what happened to the dwarves at the end of that campaign. Because I only had one standing dwarven city. And it was not a great place to go. I now have another one, but I have long forgotten its name. There we go. I got it. Apparently it's on the last page of my notes. That's how you know. That's how you know. Located in... the northern dwarven city of Cyrillon, renamed in ages past, after it was rebuilt by the elves. Okay, so there is a reason that the northern kingdoms have all of the like plate mail and super strong weapons and armor. They have the last dwarven city. There are dwarven strongholds everywhere. They're up in the mountains, if you know where to look. But they have the last dwarven city. And they overtook it, and they let the dwarves stay there and continue their stuff, but they now pay their taxes and they worship their gods. And part of that is they export a lot of stuff to the warfront. That's what they do. So we have the Forge Masters, and we'll come up with a cooler name for them later. The Aluminum Guild, that's actually a very good point. Because you need a lot of lightweight metals for artificing? Artifice? What's the active tense of artifice? Is it just artifice? I have no idea. Okay. The Battalion of Blacksmiths. I love the idea, the image of just hundreds of smiths running out with their little, like, their little hammers. Ping! Okay, so that, like, this is the... That's one of the northern deals. We need a lot more. We need a Artificers Guild for the north and the south. And the one in the north needs to be, like, needlessly complicated. The Consortium of Creation. How did I miss that? You're a genius. This is the northern... Northern Artificer Guild. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you, Emerald Lizard Games. Maybe the head of this is an Emerald Dragonborn. What do you think about that? Doesn't fit the lore, but Dargonborn is totally fine. The Dargonborns are allowed. Dargonborns are allowed, but Dragonborns aren't. You can't be a Dragonborn there. You have to be a Dargonborn. Maybe Persephone in the north is known as the Lord of Gophers. Because they don't put any stock in her, but the people down south understand the importance of it. The iconic inventors for the south? Perhaps. That might be another good one for the north. The folks in the south are not worried at all about, like, fancy names. But, inventors. I think this is a phenomenal foil, almost, to the Consortium. I think these guys are competitors. Because that could be some fun playoffs between the two. You could have, like, if you have players up north that are looking for a more, like, realistic storyline, they could help the iconic inventors, which is probably, like, I gotta be careful how many extra peoples I am placing in the north after everything I said yesterday. But I have laxed on that a lot. Dwarves are not uncommon, but not widely seen. Oh yeah, that's a thing I have to worry about. Angels and devils are like a perfectly normal thing to see up north. Not like Aasimars or tieflings, like angels and devils. They're just there. Because people can conjure them and bring them in everywhere. That's not a problem. So a lot of these churches are probably run or overseen by, like, a literal emissary of a god. So yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big thing I decided yesterday. And I did, in doing so, I wrote in room to put dwarves up here because I knew I wanted to do that. We keep it loose up here. We keep things very, very fluid. Things can change overnight. So some of these guild masters might be like a celestial or a devil. Devils love organizations and power structures. They are all about it. And I think the Gilded Grave is a... I think that is a bank and a church run by a devil. I think that's a prominent devil. Maybe it's a Rakshasa. That would be kind of fun. I love Rakshasas. But one that's not, like, literally working to torment the player characters. But they have long memories. They hold grudges and stuff. So if they give you a loan and you default on that, they remember, and they'll come get you. Or they'll send devils to go get you. Or they'll just haunt you forever. Who knows? Elysian Vault, run by ghosts. That we might change that later, but right now I'm not going to think too hard about any one thing that we've done here. Order of the Verdant Heart. These are the... This is the Druid Circle, and honestly, it wouldn't be an order because they don't believe in orders, they believe in the circle. It's a Druid Circle, only found... in Gaia's Cradle. You will not find these guys up north. You will find zero presence of druids north of the forest line. But if you are a druid in the south, you are at least a member of this circle. Because this is the circle that follows Gaia, and Gaia is the one that gives you your natural magics. So you follow her. You can commune with other gods. That's fine. She doesn't care. These guys are above that. They don't get jealous if you're seeing other gods on the side. If they're, you know, if you have a side piece deity, they don't care. But these guys up here, if they find out you've been messing around, they might come after you. Who knows? I don't know. I'm coming up with that as we speak. I'm gonna delete druid circles because I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I think Ares is the... There we go. I'm going to put Ares in title diametrically opposed to Hephaestus, even though that's not necessarily the case. Those two actually get along great, because this dude is making weapons that's fueling all of the death. But Ares is much, much happier when people are dying and there's wars going on. Let me slide that over so you guys can see it. I don't even know how long it's been, like way too far over, but here we are. And this, I'm going to change this. The Architect of Dawn. The Dawn Father. I have remembered the third name. And we are going to put it down here. There we go. It has come to me in a vision, baby. So these are our... They're no longer the twin blades. I need a these are like the triplets or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Cuz these three minor deities right here are just a mess. They might be the Furies, depending who you ask. Again, we're taking some liberties with names, but that's the best part of all of this, is to just change your mind on everything. Because nothing is set in stone just yet. Let's see here. What do we have? What do we have? I think these two together are the twin blades. But this guy with either of these two is like actually like that's who an assassin would pray to. Would be Dolos and either of these two lads. And this might just be the twins. At least for now. Minor gods don't get like super cool complicated titles like these guys do. And I've decided not to do this. I liked his old names better. There is a tendency for me to come up with a framework, like calling something the architect of this, and then trying to force everything to have that name. And we don't have to do that. That's not a thing we have to do. Because like this guy would be the architect of parties, and that's lame. He's the party planning committee. What else do we need here? Let's get... This is going to be the circle... This is going to be the circle of the moon. And I'm not going to put any more thought or effort into that. That one's just that's circle of the moon. Druids who focus on shapeshifting. And lycanthropes. There we go. So yeah, druids that focus on shapeshifting, lycanthropes, people that have things that happen to them at night that they don't have control over, would pray to Nyx to prevent them. Circle of the Dark Arts for Thanatos. I don't know. He's not necessarily a druid. He's not really like a druid circle. He would be closer to... Like, he's going to fall into more, like, paladin and cleric orders. Because anything that's a circle is going to be primarily focused on the druids that do stuff. Would Hypnos get the dreams druids? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's why I've also given him a domain over conjurers and summoners, because you're bringing something that you can think about into life. Illusionists as well, but I'm going to leave them in conjuration. Like if anybody ever casts like Phantasmal Force, you're borrowing from Hypnos to do that. It's just what he does. It's what he does. So I'm going to encourage anybody that plays a caster to think very carefully about the spells they choose and keep them thematic, because you will probably need a different patron for each one. And this might be the first campaign where I use spell components, because you're making an offering to that god to use that power. Pretty much always I have allowed for like an arcane symbol. I think this is going to be the first time I don't, because it's such a high magic setting that things matter. Like, you're gonna have to track your stuff and find it. And down south, it's gonna be very hard to do that. There's not gonna be a lot of stuff. So let's pivot for a minute, because we're hitting a roadblock, or at least I am hitting a roadblock, and we're gonna figure out some holy symbols. This is going to be, I think a white swan is totally fine, and I think a broken heart. And an amended heart. Because these are going to be things that people are going to see and associate with these deities. So Apollo, you're going to see the sun, chariots, Ares, you're going to see weaponry. That's going to be different things for everybody who follows Ares. Weaponry, you're going to see broken weapons. Or maybe broken shields is a better way to put that. Because you would, in praying to Ares, you're either going to pray that your arrows or your lance strikes true. And if you're praying for your enemy to falter, you're going to pray that their shield breaks or that you get around their defenses or something. So these are just, for now, it's just going to be iconography that you would see. So if you see a tapestry with like a broken shield and a massive battle axe, you would know you're in a place where Ares is worshipped. And then we'll figure out their holy symbols in a minute. But for now, this is going to be a bow with a knocked arrow. If you are down with the quickness. A bow that's a harp for Apollo. Oh yeah, that'll probably be his holy symbol. Is any form of musical weaponry. Because that's just bards, baby. There's bards. Artemis, we're going to have a bow with a knocked arrow. A boar's head. And then maybe like a wolf or a bear's paw print. These would be the things that, like a ranger that follows Artemis would leave these icons in safe places. Could be a moon as well. Heck yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Okay, Athena, obviously the owl. The spear. The Lord of Gophers has returned, everyone. He's returned. Athena, for now, I'm just going to throw owls and spears. She is specifically going to be a frozen stalk of grain. We're going to use Demeter in the very, eternal winter sense. Artemis could have a moon. She could, but there's going to be a lot of gods that could use a moon, and I think we're going to use this would be a full moon. Hecate is going to be a waning gibbous. She's going to be a 3-phased moon. A 3-phased moon, alternatively, it would be like a harlequin's mask. Something that is displaying two emotions simultaneously, but also hiding your true intention. And I'm going to write that so I don't forget it, because that's a very specific thing that we're looking for there. And let me see if I can make this small enough that you guys can see more of what we're going for. Doot doot. There we go. Because I don't want to have all this stuff get lost in the sauce, but maybe we go like this. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to shrink this one. There we go. Okay, so we should be able to see more stuff now. Poseidon could be an anchor. I think magician. I think it's exactly that one. Persephone, we're gonna have be the inverse of Demeter. She's gonna have 2 stalks of grain. or like a basket of fruits or vegetables. Like anything that symbolizes a good harvest is going to be a symbol to Persephone, for the most part. Song blades from 4th edition for Apollo or Ares squad for weapons. A cornucopia, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'd keep writing basket because I'm like, oh, the name will come to me. But you guys are so good at reading my mind. This is a cornucopia. Symbolizing like abundance. Any imagery invoking an abundance of food. Because she's already only really worshipped by individuals, I think symbols for Persephone are going to be a very unique and individual thing. But they're all going to involve at least one of those 3 core elements. Hephaestus is going to be a hammer striking a forge. I don't know why I capitalized all that, but I've been doing that the whole time except for down there. So whatever. There's no consistency. These are my notes. I don't care. Ha! Doesn't matter. So a hammer striking a forge for Hephaestus. An open chest for Hermes. I think for... You know what? That might actually be for our lovely goddess of fortune. Might be an open chest. And I think for Hermes, I'm going to stick to the more traditional winged boots. I'm going to... A scroll for Hermes? Potentially, because I have to keep in mind that we are going to have the literal, like, goddess of intrigue is probably like a scroll with a seal on it. This is gonna seem very Vecna-y, but I don't mean it to. A skull with gems for eyes. For our kingmaker. Very personal images of revelry. So whatever revelry means to the worshipper of Dionysus, Hermes or Nike could have a winged boot. It's literally just the swoosh. If they want to sponsor us. Because she is success, prosperity. I think these two... these two together, I'm going to cut that. I think it's a double-sided coin. And I think on Nike's side is one thing, and on Taiki's side is the other. Hermes, baby. Hermes. 2 pigeons with a heart for Hera. I do enjoy Hera having doves in some way. A wreath with a flame in the center for Hestia. I do believe that is her traditional one, and I am perfectly content to have that. But I think... Yeah, there she is. I was like, I don't remember where I put her. A wreath surrounding a hearth. For Hestia. That's flame. Okay, these 3 we'll come to later. Frozen stock of grain, imagery of harsh winter. So this again is going to be, a lot of these are going to be very personal for folks. That's why like we're doing iconography first, because a holy symbol is going to be pretty universal for the north or the south. Like you would find certain things there. Doves ate Aphrodite though. Well, listen. Nobody's perfect. We're not gonna worry too much. Zeus is obviously lightning bolts, of course, because that's pretty iconic. Eagles. That one time where he was like a swan and was kind of given hungry eyes. There's been a couple times where the gods have been bulls, so that's not a bad one. We're just gonna say prominent or powerful images like mountains, etc. I'm not gonna put too much stock into individual gods' iconography. Gaia could be a tree with flowers. I think what we're gonna have for Gaia is an apple with a beating heart. Because the image that we're looking for is Gaia is literally the forest. Gaia is there. The folks are literally surviving off of the literal fruits of the forest. And there is a beating heart to Gaia, and that's what the North is trying to snuff out, and the South is trying to protect. A thunderbird eagle with horns for Zeus. Put them all together. Exactly. It's a winged bull that shoots lightning out of its eyes from the top of a mountain. It's perfect. We're not taking any further questions at this time. An anchor, a horse, hammer striking a forge up north, or I think for an artificer in the south, it is a I almost wrote three-eyed raven, but that's not really what I'm going for. I think it's a three-eyed anvil down south. Hermes. Winged boots would be for travelers, messengers, things like that. I think a curved dagger. And I think a lot of rogues, if they follow Hermes, are just going to have very subtle iconography like on their weapons. Or on more accurately, it's probably on their boots, because you would hope that Hermes would whisk you away from danger very quickly if we needed him to. Oh man, I'm telling you, man, this was caffeinated tea, and it's just like not quite enough. But we're gonna keep going for a little bit longer. We've already hit the 3-hour mark, which is like crazy to me. I did not think we would go this long, but here we are. We still got time too, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. We're gonna go till we run out of things to do. I think doves. I think interlocked rings. Anybody familiar with older Magic the Gathering cards? I'm thinking like the Rings of Brighthearth art, where there's the two rings that are interlocking. That's what I'm thinking for Hera. If you think you need to call it for resting before recording and run the ballad, nah, we're gonna I'm good. I've got the yawns, but that's fine. That's pretty normal. We're at least gonna fill out this, and then I'm gonna try to knock out at least a couple of the holy symbols. I want to be mostly done with Pantheon stuff today, at least in the general sense, and then the specific stuff will come character to character basis. But these imageries I think are fine, and then I think these guys have imagery and not holy symbols, because you don't pray to these guys, but like you might carry a double-sided coin if you believe in luck. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, let's pop up here. A holy symbol for Aphrodite. Let's see what the book has. Because the book has many, many, many examples. They say a seashell for Aphrodite, which is perfectly fitting. So let's start there. I'm going to keep the generic one, and then we're going to go back and add if they have followers in the south. They're going to make their own. Apollo, obviously, we're going to keep a lyre, I think a bladed lute. Ares is kind of basic because Athena's holy symbol I think is going to be 2 crossed spears in front of an owl. Two crossed spears behind a shield. And the shield has an owl on it. We're gonna play with this one a little bit. Okay. So as there we go. Artemis, I think, is probably just an arrow. They have a bow and arrow on a lunar disc for that. I mean, she do have moon imagery. She does. What about a trumpet as a military instrument? That would be kind of hilarious. If it's a trumpet that's also a blow dart. You just get like stuck right in the neck. That'd be pretty wild. I think Ares just having a spear seems very boring to me. Drums for Ares. Ooh, you know what? I don't remember what the subclass is called, but the like warrior bards. I think warrior bards follow Ares, and I really like that. I'm going to say war drums. I'm going to make it more specific. So they would have war drums, I think. I keep wanting to say axes, but axes aren't super prominent. College of Swords. No, what's the Valor? Valor bards. A Valor bard would follow Ares. For Ares, 2 swords breaking on each other is actually pretty sick. That is cool. 2 swords breaking against one another is a sick holy symbol. That is so cool. Can have a board and sword. I think the Ares ones are going to be very personal. Because pretty much everybody's going to be praying at one point or another to either Ares and or Athena if they're going into battle. So I like the idea that those are very individualistic. A bow and arrow on a lunar disc, huh? Well, it's only in the south. We could get this real twisted on itself. We could have the holy symbol for Artemis being an arrow shooting down a dove. Ooh, okay. Because Artemis is only worshipped in the south. So Artemis would have no problem basically offending everyone in the north by existing. And if one of their main and largest holy churches has a symbol of a dove, ooh, baby. Okay, so that could be really fun. I think that Shrine of the Silver Circle probably has like one of Artemis's bows or like some enchanted arrows in there or something. You might be able to go commune there and like get special arrows. Interesting. Interesting. So Demeter's typical holy symbol is a mare's head. Totally fine with that. But let's... I think hers is going to be a snowflake. We're gonna twist it. Because again, there's not a lot of places that worship her anymore. You know what? I don't think she has one anymore. I think it's been so long since there's been a standing church to her. She's just turned her back on people. So I don't think there is a holy symbol. I think if you're trying to entreat with her, you've got to figure it out. Maybe that's lost to time. That might be kind of fun. Dionysus has a thyrsus, which is a staff tipped with a pine cone. That's kind of funny. Let's see. Maybe his holy symbol is just an empty bottle of wine to show your support. Oh no. Yeah, you know what? It's an empty. Oh, you know what? It's a sloshing chalice. It's so full, it's like it's overflowing. I like that, magician. I like the chalice idea. The holy symbol for Hades. I think is also just a skull. It's a skull with gems in the eyes. And we're going to change the terminology here. It's not run by ghosts, it's run by shades. A coin with a skull on it is very good. Okay, Hecate is going to have 3 different holy symbols. Actually, no, she's going to have 2. Because the normal folks in the south do not pray to her. And they do not invoke her imagery or her name. Skull with gems in the eyes and gold for teeth. Ooh, baby. That would be fun, because then the holy symbol only works if the teeth are real gold. There you go. Like if you're praying to Hades, like you offer up that holy symbol and it goes away. Okay, so I think I'm sussing this out. In the south, her symbol is the Harlequin's mask. And they basically don't put any stock in her because she's the corruptor. Like, you can't trust her. So their way of showing that is like she is showing you all 3 intentions and you're believing her. Why would you do that? In the north, I think in the Deadlands, her symbol is absolutely a three-phased moon, because your corruption comes in 3 phases. You lose yourself in three parts. Because you have your mind, your body, and your soul, and eventually she takes all 3. And in the north, a 3-eyed raven kind of works. A setting moon is her traditional one, and Hades is a black ram. It's actually kind of cool too. We're gonna steal that from history too. We need a good one for the north. I don't necessarily want to invoke Game of Thrones vibes with a 3-eyed raven. But maybe it's just a raven. Just a highly intelligent, omnipresent bird. Spreadsheets and pantheons, baby! Joel, I knew you'd like that. You sneaky boy, you're still here. So Hera has a fan of peacock feathers. That is bougie. Holy cow. That's your holy symbol? Dude. She fancy. Working and listening. Heck yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna overcomplicate this. She has like the rings of Brighthearth. Or a polar bear to switch it up. Yeah, it's not that far north, unfortunately. But that would be funny. Okay. So, Hermes. His traditional holy symbol is the Caduceus staff. I'm going to let that stay. He can have... He's going to have 3 as well, because he's got 3 major domains that he's overlooking. He's going to have a Caduceus staff, the winged boots, and the curved dagger. Because he means different things to different people. Because they're going to worship it for different reasons. And we're going to come up with some more guilds for Hermes as we go. But for now, we are going to keep things rolling. Hephaestus has a hammer. Hammer and an anvil. That seems fine. I want to invoke some kind of like spark of creation imagery, so I got to think of that. It might be perhaps a lightning. I gotta be careful whose toes I step on here. But lightning striking a 3-eyed head. A hammer and sickle in front of a star. Beautiful. A flaming nail? That's not bad. Let's throw it down. We might cull some ideas later, but for now we are taking all suggestions. Sparkling hammer. Maybe. I think it's going to be a thing because it keeps coming up. That any creature with 3 eyes being depicted as a symbol of like wisdom or intelligence. Not in the mechanical sense, but in the like colloquial sense. Three gears connected? Kind of. I don't know if we're at a point in technology where they have like clockwork stuff going on. So I don't know that they would associate it with that, but that's not a bad idea. Okay. Oh, they did Persephone dirty in here. So I think, again, I don't think Persephone has widely produced holy symbols. I think it's a very interpersonal thing. He's going to have a trident or an anchor. Threads is an interesting connotation of seers, chakras, etc., and they're referencing the third eye on the forehead. Heck yeah, dude. That's what we're looking for. Hephaestus do be building robots. I mean, he do. Yeah, the technology level is not going to be at clockwork or robots. That's why I'm not worried about somebody coming to me saying I want to play a Warforged. You got to sell me on that one. I'm going to be honest. You got to sell me on that. An open gate for Persephone. That's a good imagery. Let's do an open gate, symbolizing like being welcome and like passage in the life and death sense. We're going to give Poseidon a couple things. He's going to be a trident, an anchor, and a horseshoe. Depending on who you are. Poseidon will mean traditionally one of three things to you. You're a sailor. You are one of the cavalry members. Or you live on or near the sea. Which means you're not from here. Which is why you will not find any big church to Poseidon. Let's see. And of course we have Zeus, typically a handful of lightning bolts. But lightning bolts I feel like they're played out. So I think his is a screaming eagle. Or a bull's head. I think we're going to do something like that. Trident for the anger of the sea. Anchor if you're a sailor. Horseshoe if you're a land trader and traveler. Heck yeah, dude. Anvil rot from the Theros book or Warforged might just all be children of Hephaestus. Yeah, those are things like robots and automatons are things I don't include in the world anymore unless a player really, really wants it. I tried it once and it just kind of didn't fit. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. So I don't typically like cater to those dudes. I mean, this guy's the pan is easy. It's a pan flute. Like that's literally the. There you go. None. An independent choice. Hypnos. I don't know. I don't know how deep of a dive I want to do on minor god symbology. Because a lot of it's going to be a warlock patron. So how you choose to exemplify them is your own thing. But I do like these guys being a double-sided coin. And I don't think I want to use a 4-leaf clover for luck because I don't think that means the same thing in this setting. Because one side of this coin I want to invoke luck, and the other one invokes skill. Or prowess. So, Starry Veil for Nyx, if she were to have one. I think for Nyx, I'm going to keep her holy symbols to a minimum. Same with all of these guys. These are going to be more in the vein of like imagery than a holy symbol, because you're not necessarily going to overtly be allowed to or encouraged to pray to the elder gods. It's a bit taboo. So let's grab these and jump down here. These things are beings that I'm not gonna necessarily allow a player to start with a relationship with. These are things that you're gonna come across. And there are exceptions to every rule. I'm speaking in very like generic but absolute terms. This is just where the thought process is at for now. These aren't necessarily gods you pray to. These two are. But this, like, if you're praying to Nike, you're basically, that's like, it's kind of, I'm explaining this terribly because I haven't even started. That's basically saying that you are believing in yourself and your own skill, but you wouldn't mind a kick in the right direction. Where if you're praying to Taiki, you're like, you're betting on something. Like it's a horse race and you're putting money down. They're two sides of the same coin. And I think I like a lot of imagery in this world of the gods being two-faced and very shifty and fickle, because that's how they are portrayed. If you're praying to Nike, you better be wearing some spiffy footwear. Yeah, they get those new, like, they get a higher jump speed and their running speed increases, baby. But yeah, you might pray to, all jokes aside, you might pray to Nike for like speed or athletic prowess in a battle. So she could, or more accurately in a contest, not necessarily in a battle. Coin with a horseshoe on one side and a sword on the other. Maybe. I don't know how I want to do this. I don't hate that. Can you press B to go faster with Nike? Yeah, but you have to hold it. You have to hold it down. I'm not against a sword and a horseshoe. Actually, I can't. I can't because the horseshoe is Poseidon. So I think these are going to be very individual. It's going to be whatever that person would think of as their biggest skill. If you're if you're a pole vaulter, you might have on one side the image of you like vaulting over a pole. It's kind of a bad example, but whatever. If you're a really good climber, you might have like a mountain on one side. And that invokes your skill. And then if you have a lucky charm, like if you believe that like a rabbit's foot is lucky, then you might have a rabbit's foot on the other side of that coin. And it would typically be in a necklace form, and you would flip it based on what you're doing. That's the imagery we're going for. And I think these guys are going to have some degree of a medallion with shifting pieces based on what you're going for, but that's again going to be a very individual thing. It's going to be something that hurts you, something you fear, and like your greatest act of treachery that you've pulled off. Dolos could be a smiling mask. It could be. But I think what we're going to do... I think in general, it's going to be a dagger behind the back. The visage of death, Grim Reaper, etc. That's a shorthand for me. Because these guys have very similar things. I got to make sure that we... Let's do this. You are fear and terror. You are agony and despair. Pain comes from both of these. I'm going to do treachery and deception. And I think this is a snake coiling a dagger. Not that these are necessarily going to be widespread at all, but on the off chance that somebody runs into it, I like that imagery for the Architect of Ruin. It would be like a poisoned dagger, but for lack of that. A skeletal hand pointing could be good. I think this is going to be a... I'm going to write a scythe with the understanding that whatever in the world invokes the visage of death, not Hades or Thanatos, but what invokes the image of, like, fear. Whatever people are afraid of, we'll come up with something like that. Actually, that would be this guy. Shoot, I put this in the wrong spot. What'd I tell you? They're the same. Because I know what I want for this guy. Torture implements. And his thing is going to be the... I might have the name wrong, but he's going to have like the rolling rack where they stretch you. You might have the flayed man. You might have the... a stretching rack. All of these guys are going to be very individual things, but these are jumping off points for a player that wants to reach out. What about the coffin with the spikes? The Iron Maiden? Oh, heck yeah, dude. Let's give that to this guy. Not the band, but, you know. All right. You know what? I think we've done enough today. We did all of this. That's not bad. Not bad for 3.5 hours. Not bad at all. Let's stretch this out so in the future it's all concise. There we go. Okay, so we've done a lot of legwork for the Pantheon. So our next stream of this, whenever it so decides to be, we have done this. I'm going to save this part for later. I'm going to wait until if this becomes a thing. This stream will only happen if this game is going to happen and I know what the players are playing. Then we're going to figure out if they have their class and their subclass, what benefits do they get based on the gods they've told me they want to follow. And we'll figure that out from there. Demigods and independent myths and heroes we'll do maybe someday. That's some like... lower level stuff that's closer to launch if we get to do this. You're out, buddy. See you in 2.5 hours. Heck yeah. Dude, Devin, I will see you in 2.5 hours. Because we're winding this down, baby. by the consortium of creation of a monopoly on magic items and powerful holy symbols. Monopoly is a tough word because all three houses in the Court of Roses all are like below House Carnelia. Because these guys have the standing army, which means the other two lesser houses that have sworn fealty to them pretty much send in everything in exchange for defense. So yeah, I don't know what our next stream will be. I don't know. I might leave that up to you guys. But it'll probably... At some point, we are going to have to do towns and cities. That might be a good one to do next. Towns and cities will also follow in with people and culture and organizations and factions. So that's what we're going to do. Sometime next week, we're going to do a stream of towns and cities. So be thinking of towns and cities and how they're gonna play out. But until then, gang, it's been fun. I want to say a quick thank you to everybody who threw out all of these super awesome names and these incredible things and helped us get all of this organized. This has been so fun, and I am very excited to do some more. So yeah, our next one is going to be towns and cities, and that'll take as long as it takes. So, gang, auf Wiedersehen. Have a lovely weekend, and just be safe, and we love you. Goodbye.